Welcome to another episode of the Dark Side of BEASTwriter Pick 6 at 6. I am your host, Ryan Sakamoto. We are going to be breaking down all the news, notes, and quotes as it pertains to the NFL Draft and your Las Vegas Raiders. We're also going to break down the grades as it comes to the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, if you follow me on Twitter, you would know I have to watch the game film in order to form the grade. I can't just bust out and bust grades on people. That's unfair. It's unfair to the player. It's unfair to you. It's unfair to me. We cannot do that. No. Not here in the DOB. Not here in the DOB. You feel me? We can't do that. We have to go to the game film, watch the game film, then do the due diligence on leaving no stone unturned, and then formulating the analysis based on the valuation versus evaluation on how the draft unfolded. Right? Someone talk to me. Someone talk to me. We cannot just put out grades right after and think that's okay. Here in the DOB. Can't speak for anyone else. At least for me, I don't feel comfortable doing that. Right? So we're going to talk today about Tyree Wilson. We're going to talk today about Byron Young. We are going to be breaking it down in two-part segments because, again, I have to do the grades. I have to learn grades. I actually went on Twitter, and when some of these players were drafted, people were asking for my grades. What I thought, I was like, I don't know. I don't know because I ain't run the grades on these guys. I ain't watched film, so I'm going to reserve comment until I watch the film. Because for me, it always comes back to the film study, right? You guys know I've been doing this since the San Francisco 49ers, which is why you guys keep – and Niners fans are asking me for grades on the 49er players. They already know. The Beast Receipts check out more times than not. But Cardinals fans too. And you guys, my guy JP in here got Dante Steels. All right, so we have all different fan bases because of my evaluation versus evaluation on film study, game film breakdowns, and the Beast Receipts check out more times than not. So look, everyone's pumped up. I'm pumped up. You're pumped up. Let me write this down. Everyone's pumped up, right? There's 29 of you guys in here. Just give this video a thumbs up if you like what I have to say and like my silver and black content that I bring to you and the dark side vibes that we bring on a day-to-day basis. And we'll go ahead and get started. There's 29 of us watching right now, and we only have 20 likes. So let's get those likes up, and we'll start in a little bit. So let's have some people coming in. And we'll go ahead and get started. But yeah, how's everyone doing on May 1st? I have friends and family coming in to Vegas this weekend for not Cinco de Mayo, but I guess there's this Hawaiian festival that's coming through. So that should be fun. My friend happens to be a diehard fan. So a lot of people coming in from the 808. And people say, oh, you said you're Hawaiian. I never said I was Hawaiian. I'm rooted in Hawaii. Let me write this down. Check the Beast Receipts. Here we go. All right, let's go. We're going to start off with Tyree Wilson. Got to interview Tyree Wilson. If you guys haven't watched my shorts on YouTube, go ahead and check those out. Again, people stealing my content, passing it off as their own, reposting the videos that I'm taking as if they're there and they're not. Right? It's really annoying. The good news is YouTube is changing up their copyright claim format and a lot of different things as far as like the YouTube partnership program is concerned. So that's always a good thing. So I think they're kind of catching on to like people that are stealing like people's content. Like you can't do that. Like that's a big no-no. That's a big no-no. You can no. Like no. That's just unethical and wrong. You can't do that. Flinko versus Flinko, thank you so much. He said, let's get it. And thank you, Flinko versus Flinko, for your Venmo donation. If you guys want to donate through Venmo, you guys can do that. A lot of you guys have started to do that. You guys can do that. It's in the link in the description box of every live stream or video that I post on YouTube in the description box below. There's my Venmo link. That's at BEASTwriter. Of course, you guys can go ahead and send me a Venmo if you want. Or if you guys would like to donate on the channel directly through a super chat or super sticker here on YouTube, those are always welcome as well. And so we're going to talk about Tyree Wilson. All right. And again, give this video a thumbs up. Please do so. It'll push other like-minded nation like yourselves and say, hey, this will be a recommended video because the nation like this stuff. And again, the comments that I've been getting, whether from day one, is you guys have followed me and found me from the player coach interviews. Literally, you guys have found me from the player coach interviews that you guys listen to. And You guys anticipate the questions, or you guys are always watching to hear what I have to say from my perspective. And look, there was a podcast today, right? There was a podcast today called East Coast Nation. I don't know who's watching my stuff, right? Apparently, for us, it's a lot of people, right? For us in the DOB, we're fairly small. We're like the smallest one out of everyone. So it's like a startup, which is, I'm okay with it. But no, you never know who's watching, right? It's not so much the number of people watching as the, how should I say this? It's not really the number, because that does have an impact, but it's more like the people who are watching it. And so like East Coast Nation reached out to me on Twitter today and said, hey man, I like your questions that you asked in the pressers and in the locker room and with the players, and keep the good work. I want to have you on my podcast. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, right? And so yeah, I just think that's really cool, and just getting that kind of feedback in the comments from the questions that I ask, and obviously from the players, from the coaches, and obviously the GM, Dave Ziegler. So it's been really, really cool. And again, like the questions that I ask are very specific, right? And so like I try to make it football related, right? So anyone can say XYZ. Everyone brings their own flavor to the table, right? So it's like I'm very and that's how I look. I already told you this again on Twitter. I'll be at some Bishop Gorman games. I got invited to go out and obviously be along the sidelines. They're covering the game. Apparently, right? X's and O's guy. So I'm on the right track. No, I've been doing this for years, man. Honestly, I've been doing it since the 49er days, and 49er fans know how I do it. 49ers know how I do it. So that's how we do it. Daniel Kim said, anticipation after the draft. It's time for our team, old and new. But thank you so much, Flinko vs. Flinko. Time to get in the words of Max Crosby. Javier Ramirez says, I give us a solid B and maybe a B+. All right. Darnell Sanders says, great interview questions. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. I really do appreciate that. It's Coach Graham likes him. GM Dave Ziegler likes him. So speaking of GM Dave Ziegler, so basically, I just want to give a shout out to the PR with the Raiders. They do an awesome job keeping us informed on all things during the draft, silver and black during the draft. And so if you guys don't know, this is what they give us, right? So they give us a actual rundown. This is like the official sheet that they give us as far as their draft picks for the 2023 NFL draft. And you can kind of write your news notes and quotes on this little sheet that I have here, right? And so I don't think they do enough. Like, they didn't have to do that. They also, and this is my first draft covering the team at Raiders headquarters, because last year I covered it remote. Remember, I was like kind of in transition, making the move over here to Vegas. But here, check this out. The PR does not get enough credit. So the next day they give us this Las Vegas Raiders draft day 2 recap, right? And again, there's 41 of you guys watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you like what I have to say and you like what I'm about to show you. And how many likes do we have now? We have 30 likes and 40-something people watching. So we'll wait till that number goes up, and I'll show you the little things with a little secret here. It's no secret. Flinko says, I thought it was solid. I see potentially 3 starters at the minimum. The Nation Nightmare says, salute Daniel Kim. Steve Conyer says, let's go. Raider Chaos is up in here. Says, sup, Nation? What's going on? All right, we have 34 likes. It's going up a little bit. We still have 45 people watching. There's literally 11 people in here who are not liking the channel, but they're watching. Let me write this down. You already know where this is going. Raider Chaos says, hit those thumbs. Hit the like button. You already know. 48 now. It's going up. Beast is on. It's going up. You already know. 35 likes. 48 people watching. 35 likes. We'll wait. I don't know what else to tell. We'll wait. The Nation Nightmare says, salute Daniel Kim. All right, so we got Jordan A. Raider for Life says, write that down. You already know, write that down. 46 people watching. We got 36 likes. 10 people in here. not liking it, but still have eyes on the channel. All right, we got time. We can wait. Jordan says, thanks, Beast. Thanks for all you did for us during the draft. How many stars do you see coming out of the draft? That's a great question. I think it all depends after watching game film and training camp and seeing how these guys progress. Because, look, you don't know what these guys are being taught in college. So, again, the rules of engagement apply, right? It's much harder and difficult to evaluate college prospects than it is NFL players. And I think because in college, it's more spread formations, you kind of have to project a little bit more. And also based on the competition. So there's a lot of different layers to the why as to who I believe is going to be a starter, who's going to be a backup, and what's their role in between, right? And so there's different layers to that. And that's why I don't want to run the grades. Like, I'm not just going to give a Raiders a grade. I haven't watched film on Trey Tucker. I'll be 110% honest with you. I haven't. I haven't watched film on Jacorian Bennett. Bennett. That sounds cool. I was thinking Beignet. I don't know why I said that. Jacorian Bennett. Maybe because I was watching The Chef earlier on Netflix. I don't know. Anyways, you ever see that movie? It's a good movie. But here we are. Look, I haven't ran grades on Jacorian Bennett. So it'd be unfair for me to put a grade on a player based on the valuation versus evaluation of the player without going to the game film. You can't do that. I can't do that, I should say. I can't do that. You can do it. If you want to go and do that, that's fine. To each their own. I don't do that. Right? And Niner fans know I don't do that. And that's why you guys still follow me. That's why you guys were on my channel during the draft process. And you guys weren't even on the other beat writers channel. Oh my gosh. You're asking me, hey, who are we taking? I told y'all, which I tell y'all, DB or offensive lineman. Trade up. I didn't think guys were going to kick Moody in the third, though. I didn't say that. I did not know that was coming. 38 likes, 44 people watching. All right. That's a little better. All right. So let me just show you guys this a little bit. All right. So look, this is what they give us, man. The PR does a really good job at this, right? So they give us this the very next day after day one. It's pretty cool. It gives you a rundown. Like who has time to do like this is a lot of work. Like all the picks that were made, all the trades, all the transactions. You know how crazy day one was? Jeez Louise. It was amazingly crazy. And then they break it down by position. Like it's pretty crazy. Like it's pretty nuts. They break everything down by position. I'm telling you, this thing's in depth. It's like a draft book for like film nerds, I swear. And film junkies. You can add me to that list. And it tells you who picked who, where they went where. Oh, and then you have little like Byron Young, little bios. The Niners give us this too, but not, I mean, I never received a packet like this where it's like outlined to you like that. That's pretty cool. I thought that was pretty dope. I was kind of excited. Because I read this thing like every day now. It's like, what are you doing? I'm reading and watching film. Leave me alone. All right. Casey says, looking forward to hearing your takes on all the UDFAs we got to. Hey, man, how you doing? I haven't even got to the UDFAs yet. Just being 100% transparent here, right? I'm just being 100% transparent because I have to watch film on these guys. I'm not gonna say something and then not have that receipt backed up by film study. I never done that. That's like doing it blind. That's like, yeah, let's play Texas Hold'em. I'm gonna beat you. Okay, cool. But don't you want to know what's your hole cards? Do you want to know what they are? Nah, man, I'm just moving all in. All my chips are just in the table. Okay. Here comes the flop. Oh, what do you have? Oh man, I have 2-7 offsuit. Oh my gosh, dude. You went all in on that? See, I don't do things blind. Not saying that people that don't watch film don't do things blind. I'm just saying for me personally, that's how I would view myself if I'd done it. Like, you know, if you ever play Texas Hold'em, you know what I'm talking about. You don't put all your chips in the table without looking at your whole cards, unless you want to be like, unless you're on full tilt and be like, yeah, I'm all in. and you're on tilt because you've been losing every hand to your friends, and you're like, man, I'm all in. Don't you want to know what you have? Nah, it's okay. It's whatever. I'm all in. I'm short stacked anyways. I'm all in. Rockefeller Gibson said, what's popping, Beast? What's going on, man? How you doing? Raidercast says, how do you pin the comments? I can't figure it when I go live. I don't know. They changed the I got a notification from YouTube that they changed the pin comments thing. Like it's an advanced feature, apparently. I don't know. I have to reread it, but apparently it's like an advanced feature. You have to be an advanced YouTuber. I have no idea. I honestly, I don't know how to do it live, but I know I can do it on the replay. Or at least used to. I don't know. We'll find out today if I can pin my stuff. I don't know. Danica's question for the people in the room tonight. How did you guys find Beast? I found him because of the presser where Graham gave him props for the question. That is actually how you found me, huh, DK? Not joking. I know there's actually a lot of you guys found me from the pressers, from the press conferences with the players and coaches, the locker room post interviews, you guys. I mean, those go all day, every day. I mean, that's what you guys want, that insider access coverage that I provide from a different flavor, right? Not saying it's better or worse, it's just different. Everyone brings their own flavor, right? I'm not going to be the breaking news guy, right? I'm not going to be that guy. I'm just being 110%. I'm not that guy, you know? That would be like Big Vic. He's really good at that. Vic Tafer from The Athletic, which, by the way, you guys got to give him his props. He was not lying when people say, oh, man, Vic sucks, bro. I was like, nah, man, what I say on here? I said, I'm rolling with Vic. Not saying that Vinny's wrong, because Vinny was also right. But I'm rolling with Vic in the sense that if Jalen Carter's on the board, they're going to pass on him. Did I not say that? Beast receipt did not check out, right? Did it not check out? No, it checked out. And who was right? Vic. But no one wants to talk about that. Give him his props, man. Like I said, he wouldn't be in the position he is in if he wasn't good at his job. Like for years. And Vinny. Same thing. They were both right. Man. Give them their props. Trader Chaos. I said Trader Chaos. Raider Chaos says they traded Muti. I don't know. Did they? I didn't get any transaction on that. So if they did, let me know. Flinko says, I found him way back. I think he got recommended when I was watching Raiders post-game press conferences. Okay. So again, from a press conference. You guys like my questions? Very, very specific. Very, very football specific. And that's how Niner fans actually found me too. It's outside of my predictions and my Beast receipts and so forth. So it's just a different beast, right? That we bring here in the DOB fam and Beast Nation. Hubby says, whoever ain't liking the video is too busy writing it down. Can't say it's not happening. The proof is in the pudding. But it's not my first rodeo. People with the Niners did the same thing. Come on. They got exposed. Chronicles of the Black Hole. This is the first draft in years where I wasn't pissed off. Wow. I'm sorry that you were pissed off. I am so sorry that you were upset. I don't make the picks. No, I get what you're saying. Mac TT or Teddy said, thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate it, my guy. Yeah, if you want to support like Mac Teddy here and you like my silver and black content and my draft coverage I can't even talk. I'm still catching up on sleep. Look, I'm still tired. I'm still watching film. There is no days off ever. You guys understand, even during COVID, if you guys didn't follow me, even during COVID, like I was watching way more. I literally watched 50, 60, 70 hours game film a week. I swear. At least 10 hours a day. I swear. I am not joking. Because to formulate the analysis and asking questions, right, of how you guys found me and stuff, like I have to know exactly what I'm talking about to get the answer, so it's easier for the coach and the player. So that's why when they answer it, they know exactly which direction I'm going in. Like if I say, hey, look, you're a good boundary cornerback. You also played some slot. Which do you prefer based on, I'm not going to say that, right? Because it's like, well, I can play all positions, right? That's the answer he's going to give you. But if you say, hey, man, like you did really well in the slot, and then they also brought you to the boundary, where do you feel most comfortable in certain situations based on down and distance or whatever? Then he's still not going to be like, oh, well, I can play both. So the question I would ask, see, there's different ways you can do this now. So the question I would ask is like, hey, man, you're very versatile. You can play inside, you can play outside. And coming from that type of background, how do you see yourself fitting into Coach Graham's system? Say you leave it open-ended for him, right? Now you're going to get an answer. They say, oh, yeah, I could play both. See, so I'm not looking for that answer. I'm looking for the why behind the question. Does that make sense? Daniel Kim says, Beast definitely asks questions at the presser that are substantive. Some of the questions asked are Captain Obvious question that anybody watching the game or watching highlights could ask. I am just on the verge of like some of the questions, I swear, some of the questions I ask, I feel like are stupid. I'm joking. And I'll be honest with you, when I first started getting into the NFL media, it's not as easy as I make it seem, or as anyone makes it seem, because they're it's one thing listening to it, I think, and it's another thing actually being in the room and actually trying to field the question, gather your thoughts, and then ask the question that you need in order to formulate the analysis that you need, so you can go ahead and talk about it later, right? So yeah, it's just one of those things. But we're talking about Tyree Wilson. Tyree Wilson to me is, gosh, I'll be honest, the Beast receipt's already there, right? The Beast receipt's already there. There's 43 of you guys watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And again, I want to know where you guys found me from. Like, where did you find me? Is it from being a beat writer on the field at Allegiant Stadium, pregame, getting to know you guys? I got to know a lot of you guys. You guys are season ticket holders too. A lot of you guys, like, that's crazy. And JD, I know you watch it. There's a few of you guys that I made friends with who are part of the Beast Nation DOB fam here, who are season ticket holders at Allegiant Stadium. I thought that's really cool. Those tickets are expensive, man. Those tickets are expensive. Season tickets are nuts. I thought my season tickets with Niners are expensive. You guys are just, man, it's a different level. That's a different level. Victor Chavez has found you on Twitter and Bleacher Report. Boogie says, Sanji put me on. D Menace says, facts, Daniel. How I found Beast. He's the only one that asks knowledgeable questions in pressers. 4K Raider says, I saw you on a video with Sanjit, and never again was I on his channel again after that. Jeffrey T says, I found you about when you did a conversation with Sanjit, and then never again have I been on his channel. If you guys want me on his channel, we're supposed to do it after draft. Hey, holler at him, let him know, hey man, it's been over a year in the works that Beast has been trying to work something with you. Have him on. Let me write this down. Beast was trying to get on Sanji's channel. They were trying to work it out. Both have been busy for over a year, and the scheduling now is after the draft. Yeah, he's a busy guy, but everyone's busy. It's what you choose to do with those 24 hours. I always say that. Everyone's busy. What you choose to do with those 24 hours are up to you, right? Everyone has 24 hours in a day. Not calling one out. I'm just saying that's fact. That is a fact. Everyone has 20. If I want to sleep, I'm going to use 8 hours of sleep out of my 24 hours sleeping. If I want to use 4 hours to sleep and then watch an extra 4 hours of film to make up those 8 hours and then dedicate 12 hours of film on top of that, that's 16 hours. I can do that. And then use the rest of the time to work out. 4-hour workout, that's 4 hours, and then another 4 hours to figure out sleep, and then go and do a live stream, and that's what, 3 + 4. So you do the math. Fortino Oliveira says, I also seen you on Sanjit. Boogie says, I think Sanji's been busy with his new baby and moving from what I understand. That is very true. That is true. He did move. He told me. And he does have a new baby. But I see all his videos too. Does a good job at those. So yeah, ask him. Let him know, hey, when you got Beast on? All right. So let's just go ahead and move on. So there's 49 of you guys watching right now. Give this video a thumbs up if you like what I have to say. We're going to move on. 52 of you guys watching right now. We're going to talk about Tyree Wilson. I am on the fence on Tyree Wilson. The base receipt has already been established. And it's funny, right? It's funny. So when the pick was made, and I didn't post the video up, there's a video of the beat writer's reaction when the pick was made. It was silent. It wasn't like, whoa, that was a surprise. Because it was. We're more like, oh, tweeting it out. Okay, Tyree, to all of you guys, Tyree Wilson got drafted. Not surprised that was the pick. More surprised that they would reach for the pick. And that's crazy, right? So who am I to judge? Well, the beast receipts check out more times not. But who am I? Because I got, like I said, man, I told you I'm not good at quarterback evaluations. So I'm not going to evaluate the quarterback position. I suck at that. I think Tyree Wilson, we said this earlier, is a proverbial boom or bust prospect. He can be the best player in this entire draft class, even better than Will Anderson, potentially. Right? I'm not denying that potential. I'm questioning whether or not he can fulfill that potential based on injury history, based on what I see on film, and based on my grading system. Now, I already told you what he brings to the table. He brings a 36-inch arm length, 35 and 5/8 to be exact. You know, he's 6'6", 271, whatever the case may be, right? The guy is a beast. 6'6", 271, 35 and 5/8 arm length. Yeah, you can't coach that. Look, I want to have a 35 and 5/8 arm length too, but it's only like 12 inches. Like, I'm sorry. It's like this. Like, hello. I want to be 6'6" too. Can I just be 5'8"? Can we just go there? Like, can I just be 5'8"? Like, I'm vertically challenged. I'm only 5'5". But I'm not. See, these are NFL traits that you look for just from a physique standpoint. But when you turn on the film, this is what I see, right? When I grade his film, this is what we see. We talked about it earlier on, right? Because I was not sold on Tyree Wilson at 7, right? And I spoke with my guy, Case Kiefer, who's going to be on Don't Miss the Beat from The Beat. And he's also not a fan of Tyree Wilson. Not saying he's not going to be a good player. We're not saying that because, we want him to be a good player. It's not like this guy's not a good player. But there are flaws in his game, right? Adam Hill, who sits directly behind me, same thing, right? Doesn't really view Tyree Wilson should have been the pick at number 7, right? We all could be wrong at the end of the day. But you don't follow me for the hindsight analysis is, I'm going to wait until 5 years and then judge a player then. You follow me for the now. So I'm going to give it to you straight, right? Evaluating Tyree Wilson's game film. Not a question of whether or not he has the NFL traits to be a Pro Bowl edge rusher. But this is what I saw in this game, and this is what I talked about shortly after day 1 wrapped up and what I talked about earlier from Raiders headquarters. All right, so this is what I see when evaluating his game. Let me write this down. You guys ready? You guys ready for this? 55 likes in the chat right now. So let's just go ahead and talk about this. All right, let's talk about this. Give this video a thumbs up if you like what I have to say. There's 34 minutes in and 22 seconds onto this live stream. If you like my Pick 6 at 6 p.m. segment videos on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, please help me. And if you want to support through a super chat or a super sticker like Mac Teddy did already, you guys can do that. In the description box below, there is a money icon. You guys can send me a super chat. And there's 42 of you guys watching right now. All right. So Let me just break it down for you. All right. For the record, I like Tyree Wilson's intangibles. I like his NFL traits, but this is what I see in this game. This is the analysis. Now, let me write this down. But again, the Beast Receipt, I've been talking about this throughout the whole entire pre-draft process, right? Because I ran the grades, right? A height, weight, speed specimen. Wilson reminds me of a poor man's Alden Smith without the explosiveness get off. Without the explosiveness get off. That's what I have. His 35 and 5/8 arm length allows him to win the leverage game if he gets his hands on offensive tackles first. He can blitz from anywhere on the field and primarily used in a 2-point stance screaming off the edge. While his pass rush often saves his grade in my grading system, it's his run fit integrity that needs coaching. His outside shoulder often gets covered up while not being able to shed after a stack and ID the ball carrier, a staple in Coach Graham's system. Let me write that down. Coach Graham's system, ID the ball carrier, stack and shed, record. Zone read option can also be a problem early on in pass coverage. He can drop spot in zone coverage, but only good enough to occupy an area, reading the quarterback eyes instead of having field awareness to understand route concepts. How would you know that unless you watch film? Know what to look for. A proverbial boomer bust prospect, Wilson is likely to garner 6 to 8 sacks as a situational pass rusher in his rookie season while learning how to play in base defense from a seasoned veteran like Chandler Jones and also Max Crosby. If it was up to me sitting at number 7, I would have liked them to trade back, stockpile a 4th round pick because that's the asking price for Howie Roseman to move up for Jalen Carter, something we talked about. Check the Beast Receipt. I was the first one to say it. Knew it was going to happen. That's why I reported it. Or had a gut feeling it would happen. That's why I reported it. And would have drafted Nolan Smith, Christian Gonzalez, or Peter Skoronski. Now, me and Adam Hill agree on a lot of things, but Adam Hill, my guy, just is not a fan of Christian Gonzalez, but I am. So, but, Peter Skoronski is good. Nolan Smith is there. I mean, when you trade down to cross-check the ROI, your return on investment, on what it would take to move back 2 spots, picking up a 4th-round pick, you could have doubled down on those later-round picks, moved up in the draft to get a player that you really wanted, like a Drew Sanders, right? Who just went a few picks earlier after Byron Young was drafted, if I'm not mistaken. So the analysis of the valuation versus evaluation on draft chart valuation comes into play in any given draft because all drafts are not created equal. It creates its own identity, just like each season creates its own identity. So the parameters of making these types of deals, let me write this down, is not as simple and clear-cut as saying, hey, look, Tyree Wilson's going to be a bust. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is don't expect him to be a full-fledged starter day one. I think what you're going to see is the same analysis that obviously Coach Harbaugh used to go ahead and use Tyree Wilson as a situational pass rusher on passing downs, obvious passing downs. And that's not a bad thing because, again, you want to put the player in the best position to make plays, then put him in the best position to make plays. And I don't care, again, going into a rookie year, there's a huge learning curve there, right? There's a huge learning curve going in your rookie year. So for me to say this guy's not going to be a Pro Bowl player, I'm not going to say that. I literally said he has Pro Bowl potential. He has all pro potential. He could end up being the best player in this entire draft class, but I haven't seen enough on film to even say he's going to be sniffing that anytime soon because Will Anderson is there. I think Will Anderson is the next Von Miller. Said this a long time ago. I covered him since his true freshman year at Alabama, so I think I would know what I'm talking about, right? When they had Malachi Moore there, they had DJ Dale there, they had Pat Surtain there, and I said Pat Surtain's going to be better than Trayvon Diggs. No. This is before they even went into the NFL, by the way. Beast Receipt. Go check them out. And I like calling myself when I get it wrong. That's why I call it Beast Receipt. I'm not afraid to put my on the line and call myself out. Look, it's fun. I like calling myself out when I get it wrong. I'm not saying check the Beast Receipt because I'm always right. No, I get it wrong too. But I get more right than wrong. That's why I'm not afraid to put my analysis up in real time. Victor Chavez says, yeah, like and subscribe to our man Beast. Thank you so much, DK. I appreciate that. Victor Chavez says, Beast, what's up with the Raider Nation in these questions? Seems like we have more toxic, negative fans than ever. Complain about everything. We're Niner fans this bad. I'll be 110% honest with you. All right? Because I'm coming from the 49ers. And again, you guys saw how many Niner fans were on here? Like, they want to know my take on the NFL draft because they know how I do it. They know the Beast Receipts checkout. They already know. They're like, dude, like, how'd you? I've been doing this for a while, man. I'm almost 40. Okay, I'm an old man. I'm about ready to be in a wheelchair pretty soon. Seriously, I feel old. All right, after the draft, like, I feel like I just ran a marathon. I feel like I was on prep for a show. I'm carb depleted. I'm water depleted, and I'm about to just take a 16-hour nap. I'm being serious. Like, I'm so more mentally drained than physically. I can't even talk. That is crazy, but I love doing it. I was talking to somebody, and I'll always remember this, right? Not gonna name the person. Had a conversation with somebody, right, who's a beat writer, and he asked me, or in the conversation, I was like, "Hey, man, so I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing it because I love doing it." And then he goes, "Oh, I'm doing it for the money." I'm like, "Okay, that's weird." No, I'm joking. Everyone's doing it for the money. I'm also doing it for the money. To say I'm not doing it for the money, but I'm also passionate about what I do. My goal, my thinking here is this: I don't do things just to do things. I do it because I'm passionate about what I do and I love what I do, and it's fun, right? It's fun for me. But then I think 99% of the people, just like football players, 99% of the people who are really good football players, I shouldn't say 99%, but there's a good portion of football players who are really good, and they may not even like the game of football, like we talked about, right? When it comes to the scouting process. Do you love football? Like, they're of course going to say, yeah, I love football in the interview process, but like behind closed doors, I know for a fact that players don't love football. They do it as their 9 to 5, and they're really good at their job. And you would never know the difference. So I think the difference between, and there's also other people who are like me. I'm not saying I'm the only one, but I think in any job career that you're in, career path, whatever, like, I'm really passionate about what you do. And hopefully that shines through, right? Hopefully that shines through, because at the end of the day, I don't think if I was to do this for free, would I continue doing this? The answer probably would be, yeah, I would still be a beat writer for the Raiders. Yeah, for sure. Because I'm very passionate about what I'm doing. Like, to me, people say it's not work. It's work. Like, trust me, it's work. Work is a grind. No matter how how passionate you look at it, it's work. It's a different type of work, though, right? It's me elevating my own game to create a community where you guys can see things from a different lens. For instance, everyone has their take, right? Like Vic and Vinny and PG, Tears, they all have their take. They're very good at breaking news and keeping guys up to date on the daily grind. They do a really good job at that. Same with Adam Hill, same with Case, and Cases, they're good with the sports betting, right? Like, I'm not gonna say, man, they're on top of their sports betting stuff, right? So everyone has their own little thing that they're really good at, and they do a really good job at that. Just putting it out there. I think everyone does a good job. It's just a different flavor that we bring to the table. But coming back to the Niner fans as opposed to Raider fans, I would say, like, I'm used to this. Like, it's not so much they're being negative as much as fans get really emotional. And so, like, I think because they feel some type of way, they actually feel fan. And I was like this too. I was once a fan. I feel like I'm part of the team because we are, like, if you talk to somebody, you say we, right? At the bar, we're 13-2. We're really good. We're 2-13. We suck butt. Like, we can't beat anyone. Like we're butt. Like, we're not good. we, right? So you're gonna think psychologically, you're gonna think like you're part of something. So they get emotional. Fans get emotional. I used to get emotional. So I'm in the same group as you guys, right? At one time. Once you take yourself out of it and see it for what it really is, and it's like, okay, makes sense now. Let's breathe a little bit. Let's breathe a little bit. Oh man, but no, I like the nation. I like the nation. All right, so this is what I think about Max Crosby, right? Max Crosby is going to be, I voted him for first team all pro for the Pro Football Writers Association, which is why I have my grading system, right? If I'm going to make grades on a player and grade all 32 NFL teams, I need to make sure, like, what basis do I go off of? I don't grade the box score, I grade the snap. So that's why I also run grades on 32 NFL teams. It was a shame that Max Crosby was not a first team all pro. He got my vote. Max, you got my vote. Just saying. You got my vote. Beast got you covered, man. I can't speak for anyone else, though, but Beast got you covered. Riley Simmons, Beast, what do you know about the TAP test? Apparently, Tyree Wilson was one of the highest graded players with regard to that test. Yeah, that's the report that came out by Peter King. Peter King was in the war room, apparently, and he was talking about, how the draft unfolded and how basically what I say, Paris Johnson was number 1 rated on most teams' boards. My guess and gut feeling was he was going to go to the Raiders at 7. Everyone's like, Peter Skoronski. I said, I had people on Peter Skoronski. Obviously, they liked him too, but I said Paris Johnson. If you're looking at offensive tackle, and Devon Witherspoon was off the board, that they would take Paris Johnson, right? On the day of the draft and the day before the draft, I switched. Let me write this down. That's why people are like, oh, man. That's pretty cool to know that. Apparently, the test is based on testing a person's mental toughness, how they adapt to adversity and all this other stuff, psychological tests. So that's a cool thing. I'm not so sure. I bet you if I took this TAP test, I'd fail. It'd be like, oh man, you cannot handle. I'm joking. You would buckle under pressure. Like you scored like we don't even have you on the chart. Like there is no ranking. Beast, you're fired. No, I'm just kidding. Egalitarian, what's going on? Daniel Kim says, from a player standpoint, how does a player gain or learn get off? Is that snap anticipation? Yes, absolutely. Alex Highsmith had this problem. If you guys don't know who Alex Highsmith is, he is an edge rusher from the Pittsburgh Steelers. I covered him for SI back in 2019. And so when they drafted, obviously, Alex Highsmith back in, I think it was 2020. Was it 2021? 2020? 2020. I want to say it was 2020. Anyways, he's a 3rd round pick, and he was drafted in the 3rd round to replace Bud Dupree, who obviously that was kind of Kevin Colbert's deal. He wanted to get an edge rusher to replace Bud Dupree because he knew he couldn't afford him and TJ Watt. Okay. How do I know this? Because I run grades on all 32 and keep up with everything. Okay, whatever. At the time, I believe they had Terrell Edmonds on the back end. They also had Minkah Fitzpatrick there. Yes, they had Minkah Fitzpatrick because he was traded back in 2019. And the boundary cornerback position, they had Joe Hayden, number 23, and I believe they had, who was the other one? Cam Sutton? And I think Arthur Mollett was there as the nickelback. Oh, no, they might have had Mike Hilton, actually. No, it was Mike Hilton, number 28. And defensive line was Cam Hayward, Stephon Tuitt. I think Stephon Tuitt was there. I think Stephon Tuitt was there in 2020. Cam Hayward, Stephon Tuitt, Tyson Alualu. They also had Javon Hargrave there. And, did they have Hargrave in 2019? I don't know. Anyways, based on that, he talked about his get off. And the reason why I talk about those defense front 7 players is because he had to learn to get off. So in his second year, he said, I had to learn anticipation snap count based on film study, right? Formations, down and distance and stuff. And that's how you anticipate a person's get off. So you read what's called the pre-snap keys. How do I know this? Come on. Right? Like this, So you read pre-snap keys. What are the pre-snap keys? Again, I just told you, down, distance, formations. You have to watch film study. You have to know, okay, this guy's going across a formation based on this down, this distance. This is what they like to do. Or this is what they don't like to do. They have to, use a silent count, not use a silent count. They like to use a hard count, right? So they kind of draw you off sides and I'll keep you on your heels, right? So there's different things to that. But yes, reading a person's pre-snap keys is key. Oh, let me write this down. Pre-snap keys is key. Does that answer your question? Yes, it's huge. Because again, having a strong initial get off is not as much physical as it is mental. They both go hand in hand because you don't want to have a forward lean on a get off, right? Have your knuckles turn white, go from red to white, because that's how offensive linemen know when your knuckles start turning white that you're going to be putting your ears back and attacking him. How do I know this? Okay, white knuckles is a poker tell for strong get off. If your hand's in the dirt in a 3-point stance as opposed to 2-point stance, I mean, there's different variations of this, right? Is it a tackle tackle and stunt? Is it a twist? And then again, the 2-man game comes off of that, right? So again, you can't just have a strong get off. You have to kind of anticipate. And sometimes when you have a strong get off, it doesn't necessarily mean the first one off the ball. Because again, patience is key. Just like a running back who's trying to fill in the lanes and see the hole, hit the hole, right? Those running backs usually are the ones that are the north-south runners. But if you look at the Frank Gores, right? If you look at Barry Sanders is just Barry, he's a Houdini. But if you look at all the good running backs, they have great elite vision, right? To cut back against the grain and so forth. So in order to do that, you have to have what's called patience, right? So if you're running a 2-man game on a tackle and stunt or whatever the case may be, or a twist, you're gonna have to be a little bit patient, because if you're the one wrapping around on the flip side, that can lead to a sack. But if you're too aggressive off the get off, now you're just going to be running into your own man, and then it creates a world of, oops, I did it again. But no, as when it comes to Tyree Wilson, like I said, if I was to put a grade on Tyree Wilson, there's 56 of you guys watching this video. If you guys like it, give it a thumbs up. 66 people watching right now. JLaw Film Say just broke down what I thought of him. I would give the grade a C, and I give the grade a C. And look, I'm not afraid to put the analysis out there, right? And again, the reason I say that, and give this like button, hit the like button if you like what we have to say. I give it a C because I am on the fence. I think he's going to rack up in his rookie year 6 to 8 sacks, maybe even 6 to 10. He might even lead the NFL in sacks. I'm serious. So that's why I'm giving it a C, because that's his potential. Like, his potential is he could lead that he could lead the NFL in sacks. Like, that's his potential. But what I see in run fit integrity, again, you have to be a complete player. Like, we look at Devon Witherspoon, right? And people say, oh, well, Christian Gonzalez is a better coverage cornerback, right? We talk to people around the league. But then you look at Devon Witherspoon, and when I grade Christian Gonzalez compared to Devon Witherspoon, I'm like, man, like, he's number one rated player on my big board, right? And the reason for that is because he is a better sound tackler in open space. He is a sound tackler in open space. He may not have the fluid hips that Christian Gonzalez has when turning in phase, but at the end of the day, what he really does well is he played a lot of man coverage, right? In the Big Ten. Let me write this out. Man coverage. Wasn't a cover 3. It's a lot of man coverage, a lot of rules of engagement that applied there, but 75% of the time he was up in man. Whether it be press man or off man or whatever the case may be. Usually he was up in press, right? It's the question that I have with him that I'm going to have with Ja'Cory Bennett, because again, the schemes and the rules of engagement apply differently based on what you're being taught in college as opposed to the NFL, is we really have to know the why. Like, for instance, I'm grading Ja'Cory Bennett right before hopping on this live stream. I'm continuing to watch game film. I'm not going to go to sleep tonight, right? Because I want to provide this analysis for you guys that you guys can't find anywhere else when it comes to silver and black, right? Just keep me 100, right? Because it's stuff that you otherwise couldn't get unless you watch the film. Anybody can go to Google and search stuff up. But when you watch the film, you're actually formulating your own analysis, the BEAST analysis. And that's why I call it the BPA. It's not the best player available. It's the BEAST prediction analysis. Write that down. BPA, BEAST prediction analysis. Oh, man. Does this make sense? Does this make sense? Does this make sense? It makes sense to me. It makes a sense to me. But yeah. No, man. I think the PR did a tremendous job, man, and keeping us on point, though. For real, though, they put their heart and soul into it, just like I do on a day-to-day basis. And look, the information that we got and that we get to put out for all of you guys here in the DOB and Beast Nation is, it all stems back from the Raiders PR. It really does. Like, for instance, like after the players get drafted, we are on a Zoom call with them. We get the email to go on a Zoom call with them from Raiders headquarters, and we get that access. Like, they didn't have to do that. They could just be like, oh yeah, he got drafted and we're, yeah, we'll deal with that later. Like no, like, I appreciate that. Mario says, I'm not following. You're giving a player that you think can get the most sacks in the league a C. Yes, I am. Because I don't think he's going to get that. but potentially he can. That's where, again, you talk about a guy's floor as opposed to a ceiling. And what's the difference between the two, right? The valuation versus evaluation, Mario. And so when you do that and you take around the dynamics of how I run my grading system and compare it dating back to 2007, right? Back to 2000, 1998, who does he remind you of, right? People are making the argument that he's the next Chandler Jones. I don't see that. I think he's the next Alden Smith, potentially, but potential doesn't mean much if you don't live up to the hype. Now, I'm not saying he's not going to live up to the hype. Don't twist my words. What I'm saying is, from what I'm seeing on film, I just haven't seen enough for him to garner that 3-down, base down type of a player, because you're going to want to be a complete edge rusher. You're going to have to set the edge in run support, right, to get to 3rd down, right? That's great if you're going to be an obvious passing situations and be a 3rd down specialist, right? Like Alden Smith was his rookie year. But in order to get to that point, you have to do what? You have to stop the offense on 1st and 2nd down. And in a league where you have Pat Mahomes and you have Justin Herbert and you have Russell Wilson now with obviously the new head coach there, it creates a different dynamic because, as we know, a lot of times today, the short area passing game more than makes up for the run. Does that make sense? So if that's the case and you're an offensive coordinator, you're going to say what? You're going to say what? Oh, man, Tyree Wilson, we know when he's on the field that he's going to get to the quarterback or do his best to get to the quarterback. He has long arms. We got to be careful about this. What do we do? Well, let's neutralize him. How do we do that? Quick throws, 2 or 3 step drop backs, shorter releases off the line of scrimmage. Get the ball out quick. Nothing annoys a edge rusher more than getting the ball out quick, because by the time you hit that 3rd step, the ball's already out. And you're like, dude, what the heck? Jason Marshall says, but I give it a C. I give Tyree Wilson a C. All right, now we're going to roll into Byron Young. Everyone's hating on the Byron Young pick. Like, oh, Byron Young isn't good, blah, blah, blah. Look, I graded his film, right? I'm a huge Roll Tide Roll fan. So this is my analysis on Byron Young, right? Byron Young's evaluation is he displays stack and shed fundamentals that Coach Graham covets. Coach Graham covets this, right? How do I know? Well, because I ask Coach Graham all the time about Matthew Butler and Neil Farrell and what he looks for and why these guys aren't playing as opposed to why other guys are playing. Come on. If you saw my Coach's Corner interviews, if you haven't, go back and watch those. You're going to learn something. Not from me. You're going to learn something from Coach Graham, what he wants, right? This is a very educational video, YouTube channel. You learn something, I learn something. There's never a dull moment here. It's a two-way street. We both learn from each other. It's great. I don't want to go to sleep at night not learning one thing. That's a waste of day for me. All right, so Coach Graham covets those type of players, right? Using a good lockout, which he does, right? If you watch the film, he has a good lockout arm game, right? Locking horns before shortly disengaging and eyeing the ball carrier from stack and shed. These are things that you see in Coach Graham's defensive tackles. This is what you want. How do I know this? Because I watch training camp videos and I break it down for you guys on the why, right? You can shoot a video, but why? And I break it down, right? I talk about it. And that's what you guys love, right? So you guys can see it. And I got a lot of good feedback from that, by the way. So I'll continue doing that. Because look, there's a lot of kids watching this, as we know, especially here in Vegas over at EOS off St. Rose Parkway right here. All y'all, you guys follow me for my fitness games, but now you're on to, you guys play at Liberty, you guys play at Bishop Gorman, you guys play at Coronado. So you guys followed me from the train, like, oh man, that's pretty cool. Like, you're explaining it, and I showed my coach and he liked it. So I'll continue doing those for you, right? But yeah, from Stack and Shed, one thing about Byron Young, and I talked to him about it shortly after he was drafted, was I love his nonstop motor, right? The guy can hustle and has that backside pursuit while having the versatility, right? You talk about versatility, not being one trick pony. He can play one gap. He can play a two gap. He can play one technique, two technique, three technique, four technique, five technique, six technique. He can play the piano along the line, right? The difference between the techniques is based on whether you're a one gap guy or a two gap guy. So if you're a one gap penetrator, right? Usually, and you say, oh, this guy's a true three technique. Well, basically, you're looking at this guy and say, hey, he's basically a 4-3 defensive tackle who can just hit that, that gap, that B gap, and be okay with that. right? Because that's a 3 technique lined up between the guard and the offensive tackle, right? Oh no, this guy, I think he's more than a 3 tech. I think he can line up as a 4-eye, right? The inside shade of the offensive tackle. I think he can 2-gap. I think he can spill the play back outside if we need to, or box it back in if we have to go that route too. From box to spill the box. Let me write this down. Spill the box. Telling you guys. Boogie, I don't think it matters if he starts or not. All right, so let's just go on and talk about him. All right, so we're not done with Byron Young. While he may not bring much of a pass rush, just being quite honest with you guys, right? I don't think he brings much of a pass rush due to being limited in his closing speed while having little to no pass rush moves. He doesn't have a pass rush move. He does have a wicked spin. I know that sounds crazy, and I don't know if I should call it wicked, maybe because I'm just a Roll Tide Roll fan, but I like for a man his size, he can actually spin. I've seen it in a couple games. Having it here in my notes. Young can be a viable starter on base downs. Okay, so I see a base down guy, right? Not a three down guy, but I see a base down guy while being disciplined in the run game while limiting mental lapses. Rarely penalized, and in the 12 games I graded him, he only had 1 penalty. Write that down. So if you don't think the guy is smart, that alone should say something. He only had 1 penalty. That was week 7. It was an offsides penalty against the Tennessee Volunteers at Tennessee, right? And so when you look at that game, and here are my notes, he started the game, made 3 nice tackle wins, but had 1 penalty. So you see what he brings to the table. He had that nice stretch too, as well as I posted on Twitter. He had a 2-game stretch. I say 3-game stretch when going back and watching the film on the Mississippi State game, where his pass rush really showed up. And I think that's what scouts really look for. Okay, let's see an apples to apples comparison against top level competition, because more times than not, the other team's going to be playing in the NFL with all these players along the line down in the trenches. Luis Eduardo Camilo Palomero says, new subscriber from Mexico. Let's effing go. RN for life. Thank you so much, and welcome to the Dark Side of BEASTwriter, Beast Nation family. This is what I'm talking about. It's best. Thank you and welcome, Luis. Really, really appreciate it. Glad you're here. And from Mexico. Get all your friends over there to follow me in the Dark Side of BEASTwriter here, covering silver and black as a beat writer just across the street from Raiders headquarters. Literally live down the street. It's fun. It's fun. See a lot of you guys, and gosh, there's a lot of comments. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through the comments. Whoa. Daniel Moon says, Beast, salute to the work you put in. It shows you've put in the work. Thank you so much, man. And all those content stealers, man, they got to stop. That's all I say. It's one thing to say something, right? What's the what? But what's the why behind the what, right? We can all say what, like, but what's the why? And I'm giving you the why from my perspective. Like, everyone has their perspective on the why. But what is that why? So when I give a grade on Byron Young, I would give him a B. I would give Byron Young a B grade. So I gave Tyree Wilson a C because I like the potential. And look, if he racks up 6 to 8 sacks, that is a win in my book. As a situational pass rusher, that is a win. Look how many sacks they had last year, because that shows what? Growth. It shows like something that we didn't have last year. Honestly, like, we didn't have that. And I say, see, there I go with we. I want the Raiders to do well, so now I'm saying we. I'm using the word we now, like as if I'm part of the team. The Raiders did not have that. The Raiders didn't have it. And I think if they can get 6 to 8 sacks, that's a win. But I can't give it an A grade because, honestly, again, in real time on May 1st, 2023, I just would rather them stockpile a 4th-round pick in return while picking up a Nolan Smith or a Peter Skoronski. Right? I like Christian Gonzalez too. I do. So, I mean, if you're going to go defense, why not go Christian? But Again, there could have been a huge. I don't know what their board looks like. You gotta ask. I gotta ask Peter King. Hey man, where was Christian Gonzalez? I bet. Oh man, Christian Gonzalez wasn't even. No, he was even. No one said on their board. It's not what I would do. It's what they know. It's what they would do. So I'm not gonna doubt GM Dave Ziegler, Champ Kelly, and all them because they know obviously more than me. But again, I also have to give my insight analysis in real time, right? Like this is what you guys follow me for. I'm not afraid to say that I'm not wrong if I do get it wrong, or check off the beast receipt when I get it right. Right? Either way, the beast receipt is going to be analyzed, and it should. I love it, and I love it. All right. We got a lot of questions in here. Jack Kenna says, Beast, how do you rank this draft, bro? That is a great question. So I am doing it in increments because I have to watch the film. I haven't watched film on Trey Tucker, so I can't give you a grade on that. I haven't watched the film on Jacorian Bennett, so I can't give you a grade on that yet. Right? I gotta watch the film. So the only two players well, Tyree Wilson was an obvious one, right? I watched film on him. You guys know my analysis on Tyree Wilson. I like Tyree Wilson. That's not saying I don't like Tyree Wilson, but I would give it a C because at the end of the day, like, how's that foot? How's that foot? Like, number one, that's a medical issue. That's a medical issue. Like, you can't say just by if I want something, the medical checks out, then I'm okay with it because I trust my doctors that everything's checked out. So if GM Dave Ziegler says, "Hey, everything's good," I trust. In Ziegler, we trust. I believe it's good. But it's still not you can't. But it's still not a part of his injury history. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, hey, he's gonna be ready. He's gonna be ready. Right? I'm not doubting that. I'm not a doctor. I'm not gonna. I don't know. Like, I didn't go to school for that. So I'm not going to touch that. But coaching, I can touch that because I coached at Stratford. Talking X's and O's, I can talk about that. And then also looking at it from the Beast receipts from mocking drafts dating back to 2007, because I got the Beast receipt on that. Y'all saw that. I was shocked that I even brought that with me on an index paper. I have that too. So it's unfair for me to have a grade on a player without grading the snap, not the box score, right? I can just say, hey, this guy had this, and it's good putting out the how many interceptions, how many pass breakups, because that's all factual information. But I like to delve a little deeper than that. Like, what's the why behind getting those pass breakups? Was it a tip drill INT? Was it an INT where the quarterback was just thinking it was a cover 2 and then ended up being a cover 1 man-to-man coverage with a whole player down the middle of the seam? Was it someone that was playing a robber, right? Or a spy, and the ball just kind of flew up in the air and all of a sudden the guy picked it off, right? So there's different layers to that I like to go in, right? And so again, there's only so many hours in a day. What you choose to do with those hours is, for me, it's watching film. Like, I've always been doing that ever since covering the Niners. That you guys know that's how I do it. Coaches know that, players know that, and they love it. So it's just a different flavor that I bring to the table. And we got a follower from Mexico all up in here. That's what's up. We got people from Germany all up in here, Mexico. I was looking at the analytics. So Germany, Mexico. Well, now it's Mexico. I think we had like 4 or 5 subscribers from Mexico. So you may be like the 5th one. Yeah, I would say 5th one. And then we have people from Germany. And then we also have people from Mika, Germany, by the way. I think that's how you pronounce it. MICHA, Germany. Yeah. But I would give Byron Young a B. Is that fair? What would you guys give Byron Young? What would you guys give Byron Young, a 3rd-round pick, drafted number 70 overall? And who would you guys want? For me, the only player that I would want them to take over a guy like Byron Young, or a little bit before them, obviously, would be Drew Sanders. Like, I like Drew Sanders. I was high on Drew Sanders. Jeremy Willis, who's in here and follows me from my press conference questions that I ask, is really, really smart, by the way. I wonder if he actually played in coach, because he actually talks like one. Anyways, Jeremy, I know you're not in here because you'd be leaving comments right now. I know you like Drew Sanders. You've been saying he's better than Jack Campbell. I know Daniel Kim likes Jack Campbell. I like both players. Mario, great work, man. I appreciate the analysis and deep thoughts around how to look at the process. Quickly became my favorite Raider info guy. Thank you so much, Mario. I appreciate it. And like I said, look, I'm not saying that Tyree Wilson will not be the defensive rookie of the year. I mean, I can definitely see that. That's not what I'm saying. That's not why I'm giving him a C. Because if I obviously thought, do I have a strong enough conviction that will happen with Devon Witherspoon there? Do I have a strong conviction? And forget about that. If he racks up 18 sacks and doesn't get defensive rookie of the year, that doesn't mean that he didn't have a great year. What I'm saying is the potential is there. But I'm not seeing enough on film to warrant him being like a pure double-digit sack artist yet, right? And also right? Because you don't want to be a one-trick pony drafted number 7 overall, and also being a true run-fit guy. Now, these are things that you can look at, right? There's traits there. Like, you can't coach his arm length. Like, the dude has long arms. Like he can probably slap me across the room from like one side of the room to the other. I'm serious. I saw the guy walk in the presser, right? In the media workroom where he work. He walked in and his arms are like down to his knees. I mean, the dude is just like, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty encouraging. And I like him. I like the kid personally. I do. Based on the interview, right? Like, just based on the interview, based on the personal interaction that we had with him. I like him. I like the kid a lot. I'm rooting for the kid. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope this beast receipt is wrong. Look, Aldon Smith was drafted number 7 overall too. He had that arm length that GM Trent Baalke always covets, right? He had all the intangibles that he liked. John Gruden, who was with ESPN at the time, called him a young pup, right? So you have to kind of work with that, right? Because there's things that he needs to work on. But if you put Tyree Wilson in the best position to make plays, which is, hey, look, your rookie year, I know you're learning how to be a good run fit guy, because B said you suck at. No, he doesn't suck at run fit. I just think at number 7, I would like a little cleaner prospect on all 3 phases, not all 3 phases, but on all 3 downs. But look, the truth of the matter is this: if he can get 6 to 8 sacks, that's a win. I am happy with that. Would my grade change from now until then? No, because that's my expectation for him. So a C grade would still be a C grade. If he goes from 10 to 12 sacks, yeah, then I'll be like, okay, maybe an A grade, right? Because that's a huge leap going from 6 to 8 to 10 to 12. Like, that's a huge leap. So something's telling you that, hey, if he doesn't show up in run fit integrity, if he doesn't show up in IDing the ball carrier, being able to stack and shed, locking out, and then knowing how to box to spill, right? But he picks up 14, 15, 16 sacks. I'd be like, I don't care about all that. You're a Trace Armstrong. You're just there to be a pass rusher, and that's an A grade from Beast. Literally. And I will call myself out. I will literally call myself out. Look, we're going to see him dominate, hopefully, in preseason, in training camp. I hope I can write good about this guy because I want to. And I see the potential in this game. I do. This guy can literally, when it's all said and done, be the Raiders all-time sacks leader. I'm serious. This is what I see, the potential. But again, if that's all you see as a situational pass rusher and that's all you're going to get, that'd be a hell of a career, Hall of Fame career, right? Pass rusher, right? But at the end of the day, it's like, for me, I want to see more run fit, right? Run fit integrity. And again, we're going to have to see if he can kind of work on that and what he's doing to kind of play with a lower pad level, right? Because he is 6'6", right? So by default, I'm vertically challenged. By default, I'm 5'5". He's pad level, right? Challenged because he's 6'6". And again, as you know in football, the lower man always wins, as we say. So get low. Don't be a waist bender, be a knee bender. See, a waist bender or is he a knee bender? Let me write this down. Waist bender versus knee bender. What does that mean? Thank you so much, Mario. I appreciate it. Really means a lot hearing this type of feedback. There's 47 of you guys watching right now. If you guys like what I have to say, give this video a thumbs up. And we will be on tomorrow. We've been on for 1 hour and 14 minutes and 26 seconds. So if you guys want to support the DOB, and myself through a super chat or a super sticker, please do so. We are a one-man wrecking crew. I'm the lighting guy. I'm the sound check guy. I'm the live streaming guy. I'm the content creator. I am the social media engagement guy. I am also the daily reporting guy and also the analytical guy. So we got my guy Jeremy Wilson now. I knew you were going to pop in, Jeremy. I knew you were going to pop in, my guy. I just literally give you a shout out. Look, how do I know every single person that comes into my YouTube live stream and who follows me? Literally, we have 5,100 subscribers. I know all 5,100 people for the most part. Literally, I engage with every single comment. I answer everybody's comment. You have a question, I answer it in great detail. You have another comment, I answer in great detail. Look, we have Vikings fans in here right now because Jackie Chen, who I interviewed at the East-West Shrine game, there's nothing on Jackie Chen. Right? The Chinese American offensive tackle. Got to know him from Pace University. And Vikings fans are now Rob Banks, who also follows me, who's a Vikings fan from pre-COVID. When I ran my grades on Vikings players, and that's how he found me. And it's like, man, your beast receipts are crazy good, accurate, on point. And so I wonder if Rob Banks got those people in here because Rob Banks, mahalo. Jeremy Willis, I know how you feel about Rick Spielman, man. But you got Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah. You good. You good. Jeremy Willis just says, disappointed we didn't draft one of these. I remember everyone. Disappointed we didn't draft one of these linebackers, Drew Sanders, Deion Henley, Dorian Williams, or even Ivan Pace. UDFA, our linebackers are awful. Oh, wow. You think they're awful? Oof. I like Divine Diablo. I like Luke Masterson. I like Darian Butler. Again, we're not just naming players. Look, I think it's unfair to I think it's very unfair. Not speaking for you, Jeremy, but I think in general, right? I think it's unfair to kind of write off players after their first year, their rookie year. I think you have to wait a little bit, play the waiting game. And look, it's like me, right? Like actually I pretty good in my first year. How do I put it in layman terms? Like if I'm learning a new job, right? Like if I go to like when I worked at Costco, right? The morning shift when I worked at Costco, I had to learn stuff, right? You know, when I worked morning shift, you know, you wake up at 3 a.m., you're rolling to work at 3:45 and you start, right? Okay, so from that time frame, what do you got to do? You're still waking up. Okay, cool. So you got to get used to like the layout because as you know at Costco, we like to play the treasure hunt game. I don't care what Costco tells you. We play the treasure hunt game. We make you find stuff, right? And you can blame me because I'm the one with the freaking forklift in the rice and oil aisle picking up 50-pound rice bags, putting it on my back. That they had me. I was getting a workout before the workout, before covering the Niners. Think about this. This is crazy. This is crazy, right? You want to talk about a guy who does not grind, who doesn't stop that grind, waking up at 3:45, gets a workout in because it's manual labor. Rice and oil aisle, you know you have to pick that stuff up. No, I'm not like they ain't gonna put like someone who's weak sauce in there. They put me in there. And that took some time because now I have to strategically know how many rice bags. So I do the math. Okay, 3 times 2 times how many bays up top? What's coming out right now? Like, how am I going to maneuver this stuff? Do I just create a different stack or do I create a new one or do I put the old one on the new one? And then what's my time frame before I take my next break? So there's all these different things. That took time. Didn't take a year, but there's some learning curve. So what I'm saying is same thing applies with Darian Butler and Luke Masterson, learning a new scheme, learning just being a rookie in the NFL. I mean, these are things that you need to look for. But yeah, I like the linebackers. Now, do I like them enough that they'll be potential Pro Bowl players? Potentially, yeah, but are they? Probably not. But I mean, that's not to say we don't know though. We don't know. So I that's why I'm like, maybe they didn't draft, a linebacker that high because of XYZ, right? We just don't know what they're thinking because everyone thought they were going to draft. Not everyone, not here in the DOB. What I say about the valuation board on the valuation versus evaluation on the horizontal versus the vertical board and why they would wait for a cornerback, which they didn't take until Jacorian Bennett in the 4th round. Remember? I told y'all because it's very deep in this draft class. Thank you. On to Six Soldier says favorite pick and worst pick the Raiders made. Oh my goodness. I knew you were going to say this. So the beast receipt has to be, again, I don't know the answer to this because I have to watch the film. So I'm going to reserve my answer for this. But I will get back to you. I'm not going to get back to you. And thank you for the super chat, by the way, the question. And if you'd like to support like Auntie Six Soldier, you guys can do that through a super chat. Really appreciate it. We've been on for 1 hour and 19 minutes and 43 seconds, 46 seconds. 45 of us watching right now. Give this video a thumbs up if you like what I have to say. Look, that is a great question. I have to watch the film and then I'll give you an answer on that based on the valuation versus evaluation. But there are favorite pick. I will tell you right now, my favorite pick, hands down, has to be tight end Michael Mayer. One, because I knew it was going to happen, right? You guys knew in the pre-draft process, what were we talking about? The Raiders might trade up in the tail end of round 1 for what? Tight end Michael Mayer, right? Why? If he slips, right? In that 28 to 32 range. Also, I talked about getting tight end Michael Mayer, because why? I covered Jimmy Garoppolo in San Francisco. He needs what? A security blanket. Who's a security blanket? The tight end happens to be who? George Kittle. When times are tough, who does he go to? George Kittle. Do they have that on the roster right now? No. That's why it made sense in connecting the dots. And boom, here he is. Here he is with the Las Vegas Raiders. Just like I said, the Raiders are probably going to all in on Jimmy Garoppolo. Not all in on Jimmy Garoppolo. But I said they were in on Jimmy Garoppolo, right? Reported that, and it happened, right? So you got to see things, right? Again, you guys are following me for seeing the prediction analysis that I use based on game film study and based on scheme fit and based on how I see the Raiders foreseeing the future. Now, that's hard to do, but that's why I like to have the Beast receipts, because they check out more times than not. So Michael Mayer for sure, hands down, is my favorite pick. I really love the pick a lot. Like, you guys know I liked Michael Mayer. I didn't even talk about Dalton Kincaid. I was like, Michael Mayer to me is the number 1 ranked tight end. And people were like, what about Dalton? I was like, I like Dalton Kincaid, but I like Michael Mayer. Y'all remember I said that? I'm just saying. I also liked Mario says, I was surprised Julius Brents got picked at 44. Where were you? I thought he would be there in the 3rd for us. Mario, checking the Beast receipts, I had Julius Brents in the 3rd round for the Raiders. All right, that's what I had. So me and you, great minds think alike. I had Julius Brents in the 3rd round for the Raiders. Let me show you what I put up there. And again, it's really interesting how like the draft unfolded, because it unfolded the way I thought it would. It's just the top of the draft screwed everything up. And what I say, I only gave 16 first-round grades on that draft. So a lot of these players are going to be pushed down the board because a lot of teams are going to be reaching for quarterbacks. And then I also said, that's being generous. Technically, it should only be 13, 14, but I'm a generous guy around draft time. I was like, I'll give 16 first-round grades. And what did GM Jay Ziegler say? If I'm not mistaken, he said he had 16. I read somewhere where he had 16 round 1 grades or something like that, or 15 or whatever that number was. Definitely not more than 17. I think definitely not more than 16. I think I read that on, what was it? I was at the, okay. We got Arkham Raider on here. What's going on? Arkham, how you doing, my guy? Jeremy says, what can we do to cover Travis Kelce, BEASTwriter? Pray. You know who would be a good fit? And I know I'm not talking about household names, right? We don't talk about Buda Baker here. We didn't talk about Patrick Queen here. Why? Because we didn't talk about anybody who like gets released, or OBJ. We didn't talk about OBJ like signing. Like, no, stop. Roquan Smith, no, stop. We talked about him earlier on before the season started because he requested a trade. I thought he'd be a good fit then at the time, but stop. GM Eric DeCosta was not going to let that happen. The Isaiah Simmons one is interesting. Now, I'm not saying that Isaiah Simmons is going to come to the Raiders. All I'm saying is don't sleep on Isaiah Simmons coming to the Raiders. Write that down. Isaiah Simmons. Why? What's the why? I got grades. Check the beast receipts on Twitter on my take on Isaiah Simmons. I like this kid a lot. He can play strong safety, he can play free safety, he can play the nickel, he can play the cornerback position, he can play linebacker. You can use him in a variety of different roles. If you're a defensive coordinator, Isaiah Simmons to me is a chess piece that you can use if you put him in the best position to make plays. Now, my guy JP, who's an Arizona Cardinals fan in here, knows that I predicted Isaiah Simmons to be drafted by the Cardinals as well as Zaven Collins. Check the beast receipts. And Kyler Murray. But it is interesting how this is all playing out because, one, it's not a Monty Austin Fort guy, right? Because he ain't draft him, right? I think he went number 8 out of Clemson, right? If I'm not mistaken. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I think he was drafted number 8 or number 7 or something like that. They didn't pick up his option. What does that mean? He's an unrestricted free agent after the year. So if he has a good year, then you can trade him. But if you can trade for him now and extend him like a Roquan Smith, right? Like what the Ravens did, that'd be kind of cool. But what do you see Isaiah Simmons though? I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting. I think Coach Graham would love Isaiah Simmons. I'm just saying. I think Coach Graham would love Isaiah Simmons' NFL traits and be like, man, we can win with that 4.3 speed. That height, weight, speed, we can live with that. We can have him in our Tampa cover 2, and he can just take the middle of the field because he played safety. Oh, he's an outside linebacker too. Oh, he's an inside linebacker too. Oh, he can play nickel as well. Oh, he can play cornerback? What? He's like the Julian Peterson in that game against the Dallas Cowboys back in what year was that? 2000, where he played like 5 different positions? Write this down. Right, since our linebackers aren't as bad as everyone is saying, our defensive tackle struggles as well. It takes 11 guys working as one. Plus, truthfully, how many linebackers can cover? Maybe 3. There you go. Shaquille Leonard, Fred Warner, Roquan Smith, based on my grading system. We told you guys want Devin White. It's like, no, he sucks in coverage. Write that down. Grades don't lie. The grades don't lie. I've been covering him since he got drafted in the NFL. Jack Hansen says, Beast agreed on Michael Mayer. Wow. Jeremy is hearing we're trading Hunter. Who's saying we're trading Hunter Renfrow? I want to know who's saying that. I would like to know. That's a receipt. Who's saying that? Who's saying that we are trading Hunter Renfrow? Who is saying this? Who is saying this? All right. Mario says Simmons equals dime linebacker or nickel. Yep, you already know. Jeremy says, Beast, don't play with my emotions, dog. Isaiah Simmons is a beast. Let's trade Renfrow for him. Dude, I'm just saying, look, I like Isaiah Simmons a lot. I like him a lot. Now, literally, I like Isaiah Simmons. Like, this beast receipt has not checked out so far, by the way. I'm calling myself out. Let me give you the rundown. See, I like calling myself out when I get it wrong, too. Look, I'm not afraid to do it. It's already up there. It's not like, oh, I'm not going to delete it and be like, oh, no, I didn't say that. Like some people do. I didn't say that. It's like, dude, you said that. You literally said that. Okay. So let me show you something that I said on Isaiah Simmons. I think this is funny. I like calling myself out. It's great. It's glorious. Fun. At least I have the balls to call myself out, right? Like at least I have that. You know what I mean? Like I'm not afraid. What do I have to be afraid of? The BCC check out more times than not. This one did not. Here, let me go back. I wish I could take and I have game film up of Isaiah Simmons. If you guys want to see that against Jimmy Garoppolo. Whoa, this is pretty cool. If you're on Twitter, maybe I should retweet this. Breaking down what went right on Raheem Mostett's 76-yard touchdown. Okay, well, I don't know if I want to show this one because Mostert gets a cat coverage versus rookie Isaiah Simmons, and he just gets blown for a 76-yard touchdown. You guys aren't going to like this clip that I posted on my game film breakdown of Isaiah Simmons versus Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm just saying. Literally, I have a clip. I'll post it for you guys, and you guys can be the judge on this. I'm gonna copy the link to a tweet. I'm gonna put it up here for it's funny. So if you guys are on Twitter, just go here. I'm just gonna put it up right here. It's up there for you guys. You guys can just check that out, and you guys will see what I have to say about about my film study on when it came to Isaiah Simmons. Oh wow. This is one of those plays where it's just like, what is going on? Man. Okay, so this is wild. All right, this is my that's a beast receipt and a half that exposed Isaiah Simmons. If he comes to the Raiders, he's gonna be like, dude, why'd you show that? I'm like, hey man, you weren't with the Raiders at the time, bro. You were with the Cardinals. All right, so this is my thing with Isaiah Simmons. This is when he was coming out back in 2020. And I kind of liked Isaiah Simmons, right? Like I thought he was going to be a really good player. Like I don't know what to tell you. If you guys look at that, you're like, oh my gosh, what the heck is going on? So my analysis on Isaiah Simmons is fairly simple. Like he's a very versatile guy. He can do a lot of different things. That's funny. I just have that there. Why would that be there? Oh my goodness. Oh, here's another one. The defense can. Oh, here's another one that I have Isaiah Simmons. See, I watched game film. I told you guys I watched game film all 32. You guys don't believe me. I'm going back to 2020 right here. Oh, there's a play where Cam Newton is running and he gets blown up by Isaiah Simmons and it ends up being in a penalty. Oh my gosh. You guys remember that back on November 30th, 2020? Oh, Jeremy says Hondo Carpenter has mentioned trading Hunter Renfrow. So he reported it as fact. Is it a fact that they're trading Hunter Renfrow? Is this factual information? Is this a receipt that's going to happen? That's my question. So Hunter Renfrow's on the trade block. You wouldn't mention this unless someone's on the trade block, right? So is Hunter Renfrow on the trade block? Is it reported that he's on the trade block? That's news to me. I mean, I know the speculation, right, around Raiders headquarters. I work there, but is he reporting this like he's on the trade block? Because or is he just speculating or analyzing that it could happen? Those are two different things. Because it sounds like you guys are making it sound that's fact. Like Hondo says that they're trading Hunter Renfrow. Not you personally. I'm just saying in general. Riley Simmons didn't Isaiah Simmons smack the dog out of 13? Maybe made him fumble and sent us home and with an ugly. Oh, that's right. I think he did. Tanner Muse says, thoughts beast. The Renfrow news is speculation. Oh, so you're speculating. I thought it was a fact. I was like, man, did I miss something on this live stream? Did someone report that Hunter Renfrow was on the trade block? So it's something that could happen. Gotcha. Oh, it could happen. I mean, I'm not saying it's not. I mean, shoot. How many wide receivers are on the roster? Like, I'm not saying it can't happen. I wouldn't be surprised if it did, honestly, but I wouldn't. You signed Darren Waller and Hunter Renfrow to big contracts, and now they're no longer with the team. Then you're left with just Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, who you signed to a big contract, or sizable contract, right? Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers. You have Philip Dorsett there. Now you have Trey Tucker, but he's just a return man anyways. Mostly a return man for now, right? So, interesting. We've been on for an hour and 33 minutes and 53 seconds. If you guys like what I have to say, give this video a thumbs up. And also, if you'd like to support the channel through a super chat or super sticker, please do so. It definitely helps me a lot and also pushes the algorithm to other like YouTubers who also have a channel, as well as other nation fans. So please do so. He stated that he broke the news Raiders are trading Hunter Renfrow just yesterday. So it's fact. So Hondo's saying it's fact. He's saying Because I'm going to report this if he's saying it because he reported it. So is this factual information? Like this is a real question. Like, is it like where can I find this? Like, he literally said that Hunter Renfrow. He broke news that Hunter Renfrow is on the trade block. Literally, this is what he stated, that he broke the news. Raiders are trading Hunter Renfrow just yesterday. So the Raiders are trading Hunter Renfrow. This is facts. This is that's a receipt that we can. That's a Hondo receipt. That's news to me. But then, what do I know? So if this is factual information, right now at 7:36 p.m., write that down. I'm going to write this down, but I need to know where he said this. If this is actually true. Is this actually true? Is this facts though, Jeremy? Let me know. I'm serious. I'm just serious because that's news. I got to report on this. If he's saying, look, he's broke the news that Raiders are trading Hunter Renfrow. Like that's a fact. Like they're trading him. Not speculate. This will be a fact. Like, man, that is some huge news. That is some huge news. So, but Jeremy, is it fact? That's all I want to know. So he reported it yesterday, but it sounds like, is it fact? Or is it just his opinion? There's two different things there. Two different layers to this. He said, don't be surprised if Hunter Renfrow is traded by June 1st. I don't think anybody would be surprised by that. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he was traded by June 1st because that's the deadline before his, obviously, salary kicks in, right? The June 1 deadline is the salary. So I don't think anyone's surprised if Hunter Renfrow. I don't think that's news because everyone's speculating that. Like, we all talk about them in the, but if he was the first to say it, then my hat's off to him for saying it, for predicting it. My hat's off to him if he was the first one to say it. But I thought it was like, I thought I was missing something. I was like, wait, am I missing something? No, but yeah. Don't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. Like I don't think any fan would be surprised if Hunter Renfrow was traded by June 1 deadline. Or have the June 1 designation. All right, we've been on for an hour and 37 minutes. If you guys have any more questions, please send me a super chat and super sticker. I'll get to those questions first before everyone else. And then also be sure to hit the like button in the lower and subscribe in the lower right-hand corner of the screen as you stay up to date on all things Beast in real time. We've been on for 1 hour, 37 minutes, and 45 seconds. Jeremy says, yes, BEASTwriter, watch Hondo Carpenter YouTube video from yesterday. He literally stated he broke the Hunter Renfrow trade rumors. Watch his video from yesterday. He broke the Hunter Renfrow trade rumors. Let me see. I want to look at this. That is so crazy. That is so crazy. That's true. This is true that Hunter Renfrow. On March 21st, Hondo said, need to make something clear. This is on Twitter. Need to make something clear. If people are interested in Hunter Renfrow, it doesn't mean Raiders have any desire to move him. They aren't shopping him. Renfrow is a valuable asset. That was said by Hondo Carpenter on March 21st. He also said, just spoke with 2 NFL execs about my previous report that the Raiders were getting calls on Renfrow and listening. They said not hearing anything imminent, but I would be shocked. He said, I would be shocked if he's a Raider when the season starts. A lot of smoke. We shall see. I will remain on it. So The Raiders aren't shopping him is what I got out of this. And then he says he's not hearing anything imminent, but he would also be shocked if he's a Raider when the season starts. And then he says a lot of smoke. So what? And on March 16th, he said, I've already broken the story that the Raiders have received calls on wide receiver Hunter Renfrow and are listening. So on March 16th, he said he broke the story that the Raiders have received calls on wide receiver Hunter Renfrow and are listening. Nothing has happened as of yet. That's what he said when a question was asked. Hey, Hunter Carpenter, rumors are swirling about Raiders trying to make a big trade. Any truth to it? He responded to DJing or whoever this guy is on Twitter. I've already broken the story that the Raiders have received calls on wide receiver Hunter Renfrow and are listening. Nothing has happened as of yet. So on March 16th, he says they're listening. And then on March 21st, he says, need to make something clear. If people are interested in Hunter Renfrow, it doesn't mean Raiders have desire to move him. They aren't shopping him. Renfrow is a valuable asset. Okay, on March 14th, he said the Raiders have received trade calls for wide receiver Hunter Renfrow per NFL League source. I am not reporting that any deal is happening, but I am reporting that the calls have been taken. So that was back on March 14th, and I don't think anybody I don't know, March 14th, that was a while ago. So yeah, he may have been the first one to report it. Honestly, I mean, he said this on March 14th that the Raiders have received trade calls for him. So I guess we'll have to see. So March 14th, he said that I didn't even catch that. So yeah, if that's true, then yeah, he was the first to report it. If no one else said that, which I don't think anyone else did say that. So if he does get traded, Honda was right. Onto Six Source says, what does the film say about Young? Oh, I talked about this, man. I already talked about this earlier on, but it says he's scheme diverse, right? He's not scheme dependent. He can play in a 34 base or 4-3 front. He can one gap, two gap. Doesn't really make a difference. He can play the piano along the offensive line, along the defensive line. He can play the 1 tech, the 2 tech, the 3 tech, the 4 tech, even as a 6 tech, covering up the tight end. Does a really good job at that in spot situations. I don't see him being much of an interior rusher. I'll just be quite honest with you. He does have things that he needs to work on. One is his pass rush. I don't think he comes with a plan when generating the pass rush. But again, that's with a lot of these interior defensive tackles who just win with power, right? So how you convert that speed to power conversion, because again, when you get to the NFL level, fundamentals come into play, and then you have to use proper hand placement, have to use proper lockout, just like he does being fundamentally sound in run fits. So again, his pass rush does need work. I'm not going to sit here and lie, but those are things that you need to work on. So I see a good, in his rookie year, the expectation, again, is the iron sharpens iron mentality and leaving no stone unturned and creating competition, right, at every position. And you do that because you drafted Neil Farrell and Matthew Butler last year in the 4th and 5th rounds. Now, if those guys were coming out of this year's draft class, I would elevate their stock 2 rounds, meaning Neil Farrell was drafted in the 4th round. I would give him a 2nd round grade in terms of being drafted in this draft. And I would give Matthew Butler a 3rd round grade, which is where obviously Byron Young was drafted. So you see the competition is not so far off as people may think, even though one was drafted in the 4th and 5th rounds of last year, because each draft has its own identity. Now, moving on to the parameters of how I see Byron Young fitting into the system, I see a rotational base down guy with the opportunity to win some passing down situations in that 4-2-5 nickel defense. Write that down. Oh, man. Hope that makes sense for you, my guy. How'd I do? Jeremy Lewis says, I don't have Twitter. However, on his YouTube yesterday, he said he was the first to break the news would be trading Hunter Renfrow. Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say he's, I would, if he says so, he says so. Give him the benefit of the doubt. Daniel Kim says, Beast, I think your receipts are making everyone have to report in actual real time instead of being a triple F, a flip flopper fake. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Because we have to. We have to. And again, the iron sharpens iron mentality is what? You either get better or worse. You never remain the same, right? Every single day you walk in the office, every single time you go to work, every time I step foot in the gym, I either get better or worse. I never remain the same, right? So yeah, triple F is a flip flop or fake. I hate those who, gosh, I hate people who do that, who say something in real time, and then in hindsight, after their receipt doesn't check out, oh, I never said that. Oh no, yeah, that guy's gonna be great. Like, yeah. It's like, no, man. Game recognized game, says Beast. Leonard Villafuerte, I think he mentioned it when he talks about the drafting of Trey Tucker. Wow. Well then, Hunter Renfrow is on the trade block. Per league source, Hondo Carpenter said back on March 14th, right? Hondo Carpenter, who's also a beat writer, on March 14th said the Raiders have received trade calls for wide receiver Hunter Renfrow per NFL league source. I am not reporting that any deal is happening, but I am reporting that the calls have been taken. So the fact that the calls have been taken means that they're listening to the calls, which means, is he on the trade block or isn't he on the trade block? Because if someone was not on the trade block, like let's say someone called for Max Crosby, they would hang up on that dude real quick. And right? Let's keep it 100. Let's look at what he tweeted and what he says. He says the Raiders have received trade calls for, and this is on March 14th at 1:11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. He said the Raiders have received trade calls for wide receiver Hunter Renfrow per NFL league source. I am not reporting that any deal is happening, but I am reporting that the calls have been taken. So, can you hear me now? Good. You know dang well if the same situation happened to Max Crosby, they'd be hanging up real quick. Change my phone number, as Aaron Rodgers would say. Change my phone number. Ooh, Roy says Hunter will be a Saint June 1. Bet. I like. Okay. Roy has the answers here. He says he's going to team up with Derek Carr because obviously Foster Moreau, who, by the way, bless up my guy, praying for you, is there with Derek Carr. I can see that. Jeremy Willis says, love Wilson, Mayer, Bennett, and Chris Smith. All right, there's 44 of you guys watching this video. Give this video a thumbs up if you like what I have to say and like my silver and black content. Also, what do you think about the Hunter Renfrow situation? Do you want him to be traded? I mean, this is news that Hondo is talking about, and he was the first to report it. So do you guys want Hunter Renfrow traded? Is this a possibility? Absolutely, right? And obviously, Hondo, who's the first to report this, believes it's going to happen, right? Is from what you guys are telling me. I don't know. You guys tell me. From what you guys are telling me, he said that he's first to report and that it's bound, like he'd be surprised, or what'd you say? What'd you guys say? You guys said, Jeremy, you said he literally stated he broke the Hunter Renfrow trade rumors. Watch his video from yesterday. He explains why we drafted a rookie slot wide receiver and Jacoby Myers. So I don't know what's going to happen. Anyways, I'm going to hop off this live stream. I hope you guys learned something on this pick 6 at 6. I know I did. Because again, the Hunter Renfrow, I knew it was speculation, but I didn't know that Hondo was the one that broke it. So hey, I learn something new every day. Daniel Kim says, can't anyone say that Renfrow is going to be traded? Wouldn't our front office be unwise to take phone calls for Renfrow? Of course they took phone calls. Just like Jalen Carter, he's off the board. But yet, we're going to bring him from pre-draft visit to not diminish the value of the pick, because in case the Eagles want him, like the Beast receipt checks out, Howie Roseman will strike a deal and give up a 4th-round pick in return. Because that's evaluation versus evaluation from trading back from 2012 for a guy like Fletcher Cox, defensive tackle, for a guy like Jordan Davis in 2022, defensive tackle, and now Jalen Carter. I hope you guys had a lot of fun on this live stream. I know I did. We'll be tuning back in tomorrow, breaking down Chris Smith and Jacorian Bennett, two defensive backs who could be really good diamonds in the rough. Or are they? Valuation versus evaluation on those grades coming up. Stay tuned for another episode of Dark Side of BEASTwriter on our 6 at 6. How you guys like that? Oh, man. Daniel Kim says, if Renfro can adopt to the system, no, don't trade him. But if he's not a scheme fit or too small to play in our system, then get the most you can for him. It's interesting because I can see like where's that leave Hunter Renfro though logically though. I mean it's not a question on like it's 50-50. Like I think it's common sense knowledge, right? You have Devontae Adams, you freaking pay that money to Jacoby Myers. You drafted Trey Tucker, but he's a return. He's more of a return guy. I'm not seeing him more as a slot guy right away. Just FYI. Okay. Write this down. Oh, Jeremy Willis says, Beast, can we trade Renfro for DeMario Davis? Yeah, you guys could. But the grades on DeMario Davis is he's okay in coverage. He's not that great in coverage. But again, how many off-ball linebackers can cover, right? That could be something. Honestly, I think how much is DeMario Davis making? He's making kind of a lot of bread. Like, I'm just saying, I think DeMario Davis is making a lot of money, dude. I don't know how that's gonna fit in the cap. Let's talk about it. Yeah, dude, the guy's making way too much. There's no way. He has only have a 7.6 million. There's no way. There's no way. Because here's why. If they trade him, he's due to make 7.6 million, but he has 19.4 million dollars in dead money if they trade him pre-June 1, which creates $11.8 million cap hit. There's no way GM Mickey Loomis is going to do that. When you talk about the post-June 1 now, it's a 7.6 cap hit, 6.1 in dead money, which leaves you with $1.5 million in cap savings. So I don't see it happening, man. I don't see it happening. Great to see Beast in full force and energy. Trying, man. I'm trying. Elmo says, also raising to get some DBs. The ones on the roster right now would be backups anywhere else. That's a question, though. Like, what DBs do you guys want and who's available? Because everybody who needs a DB is not going to be like, hey, yeah, I have a lot of DBs. You want them? That's what I'm saying. It's not as easy as people make it out to be. But look, that's for another day. We've been on for 1 hour and 52 minutes and 22 seconds. Again, thank you everyone for the love and support. Hit the like button. We're going to end this live stream because at the end of the day, I have to watch more film for you guys so I can hop on tomorrow for another Pick 6 at 6 segment. We talked about a lot of topics. We talked about Byron Young, which is draft grade. If you guys missed it, I gave him a B grade. I see, again, a rotational defensive lineman who's going to push Neil Farrell and Matthew Butler. I think they're on the same wavelength for playing time. I think they'll all be fighting for playing time. That's a camp battle to watch, right? Let me write this down. That's a camp battle to watch. So look for that to happen. Also, I see a guy who is maybe more stout as a run fit guy and being fundamentally sound in what Coach Graham wants. Maybe something he saw, whether coaching him or not. I see that in his game. And then you turn the page a little bit backward, right? And you look at a guy like Tyree Wilson, right? I see a high potential proverbial boomer bust prospect, high ceiling, can definitely lead the NFL in sacks for rookies, right? Next year, which would be a win, right? If a guy leads the defensive rookies in sacks and beats Will Anderson, even as a situational pass rusher, how can you say this guy's not good? Like, how can you not give it A grade? But right now, to me, I just don't see enough in run fit integrity when evaluating the game film for me to warrant that type of production on a day-to-day basis, because we're just solely basing it as a situational guy, and you don't draft a guy at number 7 to be a situational guy. Hopefully you want him down on all 4 downs, right? So again, that's where I see that playing out. So that's why I give a C, because I want to leave some wiggle room in case, the beast analysis and the beast receipt is wrong, because again, there's no question if he leads the we could possibly lead the NFL in sacks. I mean, then it's like, okay, well, it goes from a C to an A. If he gets 6 to 8 sacks, which is what I expect him, that would still be a C grade because that's my expectation for him. And that's the grade that I got because I want to see more than just a situational pass rusher. Makes sense? So again, there's a lot of different layers to this, and everyone talks about the what, but what's the why? And for me, it always goes back to the game film put. So thank you everyone for tuning into this live stream. There's 32 people on. Give this video a thumbs up before you head out. And again, if you like the channel, like the vibe, like the Dark Side of BEASTwriter channel that we provide and strive for here in the Dark Side of BEASTwriter, be sure to tell all your family and friends so it'll be a recommended video to other like-minded nation like yourselves. And be sure to hit the subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner of your screen as you stay up to date on all things Beast in real time from a fresh perspective that you won't find anywhere else but here in the DOB. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I'm going to hop off. Have a good night. BEASTwriter out.